the baby bears lie soiled and dripping after receiving a massive granny gaping from the baby bulls. More evidence supports the idea that the bulls are beginning a multi-month backdoor bustathon delivered straight into the bears' no-no zone. And does the excruciating extreme fear witnessed over the past 3 months show that Bitcoin is now ready to bust? Your host, Marty Milkstains, and after you watch this video, I guarantee that you'll have a few milk stains on your jorts as well. So get in the channel, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, turn these absolute time-sensitive alerts as well. If you guys are interested in bonuses, staking, rewards, trading altcoins, make sure to check out the links below. And as well, one Twitter, one Instagram, they're both linked below. Every other account of me is a fake scammer, so never respond. Without any further Magoo, let's Magoo. Dangerously big. Now with Bitcoin breaking this multi-month trend line and actually continuing to the upside over the past, basically since February began, Bitcoin is up over 30% here, trading now currently above 40,000. However, guys, as we said in the last video, we need to be, or you need to be aware that a pullback even below 40K over the next couple of days is absolutely totally normal. Everyone's euphoric right now. We've had a little bit of a pump. And everybody thinks that, next stop is 50, 60K, which I do think this is the beginning of a macro breakout. This is actually a very, 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 very good sign, and a lot of things indicating that, yes, on the macro, this is a very good reversal beginning, and there is, potentially multiple months of maximum gainage, maximum gooage in store, 100% bar none, hands down, without question. It's critical to remember that on these initial breakouts, often there is retests, backtests, pullbacks, fake outs, mommy makeouts. So you have to be very aware. Just because we're above 40K right now, actually significantly above 40K, does not mean we will not get a pullback even this week. So just be aware. But ultimately, like I've been saying, yes, this is a very, very good indication. This is a macro trend change, momentum shift after the clear momentum over the past 3 months was dumpy. This is the very first, this is very good. We'll sum it up that way. But before we continue with that, let's take a look here. So Bitcoin price returning to 43, even 44K. Why is this so big here? So popular Twitter analyst Pantoshi even saying 39 is important to hold. So again, he's anticipating just because we're above 40K doesn't mean we won't get like a little bit of a back test here. And I think it's very important to prepare all of you for that, because that's more likely, that's what happens more than it doesn't happen with crypto. Okay, a backtest, some sort of little pullback first. Again, because people are probably getting a little bit bullish right now, even after like 3 months of extreme fear, which we're going to be getting to in a second here. But the yearly open was right around 46K, and so we haven't even reclaimed the levels that this year started with, but we're getting very close here now, and there are some very important levels to watch, which we're going to be looking at as well. But this latest action could provide proof that Bitcoin is beginning its fifth in a series of impulse moves stretching back several years here. This has a lot to do with Bitcoin dominance as well, but Credible Crypto saying here, if his thesis is correct, Bitcoin is indeed starting its final fifth wave. Expect Bitcoin to steal the show, pump aggressively, alts to take an initial hit and then rally catch up, just like we saw the last two impulses from 3 to 14K and 12 to 65K. And as well, just some whale support right around 38K is, according to Whale Map, some very good levels of support if Bitcoin would get that pullback. So again, right now, Bitcoin's a little bit above 40K. Let's say in a couple hours or in a day or two or even the middle of the week, we see Bitcoin drop below 40K down to 39 or 38K. How do you think the sentiment will look if that happens? You bet that people will be blowing holes in their trousers. It'll be absolute chaos, right? People will be panicking left and right, thinking, oh, you said this was, or everyone on Twitter said this is the beginning of the reversal. What happened? Is this just another fake out? And then again, maybe we get that pullback to 39, 38, 37 or something. And then a couple days later, we're back above 45, maybe even 50 a couple weeks later as this trend actually does change. We see it time and time again, right? We see it flip-flop over and over, but the point is here, this is a very good beginning of a macro shift, but that does not mean that we're not going to get pullbacks anymore. We're 120 trillion% going to be getting pullbacks, obviously. And as well, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, which spent most of last month in extreme fear, is now on the cusp of breaking out of fear altogether, so above extreme fear and regular fear. This would be the first, mark the index's first shift to neutral since the beginning of November, which pretty much began this maximum dumpy trend here. You can see right here, kind of in the middle of November. So we've been pretty much teeter-tottering between fear and extreme fear for 3 months. And you can see a nice 30% pump absolutely will get us potentially out of that fear zone. But interestingly as well, that the extended periods of extreme fear, so below 25 on the fear and greed index, for 3+ weeks does tend to signal major lows. And we can see that happen here back at the beginning of 2019, the beginning here pretty much at the crash back in March of 2020. And then we're seeing that again now. So again, in my opinion, a lot of things showing us that yes, this is the beginning of a macro trend change, but that doesn't mean that it's only going to be up day after day after day. In fact, we've had a nice pump over the last few days. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bitcoin potentially top out right around exactly this mid $40,000 level and initiate a pullback maybe the rest of the week. It happens literally all the time. The only thing that pumps and dumps more than Bitcoin is your sister on a Friday night. Absolutely big. So Bitcoin, another meaningless prediction of $200,000 in the second half of this year, says FS Insight, with Ethereum reaching 12,000. Bitcoin still king, Farrell wrote, adding the crypto could reach 200,000 in the second half of this year following a choppy start, which we have absolutely had. But again, that gives us the fuel, in my opinion, to, again, see this momentum change. If Bitcoin had pumped the last 6 months, would it make sense to say, well, okay, we have another 3 to 6 months of pumping for Bitcoin? No, it doesn't. It's ups and downs. We've just had dumpiness for a prolonged amount of time, resetting so many momentum oscillators or indicators and so many other so many things, right? Resetting the sentiment. And now that is exactly what we need to lift us up. Think of it this way. If you drink a lot of milk, eventually you're going to have to pee. But then once you pee, you can drink more milk. But you can't keep drinking milk if you don't pee. Very big. And as well, there's optimism surrounding ETH's transition to proof of stake if it does happen, which if it happens would likely result in capital inflows irrespective of Bitcoin performance, the note added. Absolutely very big. So if we're going to be taking a look at just some horizontal, very clear levels of resistance, literally where we're at right now was a top or was a level of kind of right in this mid $40,000 range was big. It was support and resistance here. And then as well, right at about 53 to 52,000 was this big range right here. And obviously also about 60K. So we have those three macro levels to watch. Mid 45, so between 44 and 45K, and then between 52 and 54K, and then right at about 60K. Those are big levels that Bitcoin has to overcome here. And they also line up with some key things like the 50-week moving average and then the 21-week moving average. So really the big test, in my opinion, is going to be breaching 50K, but we also have a gigantic Fibonacci resistance right at 60K, which has been on the long-term chart. Resistance, pretty much it's been what has rejected Bitcoin from going much higher. Yes, we did hit 69K, nice, but you can see here, these weekly closes pretty much all were at the same level, right at about 60K, these long-term fib levels. But what's most important now is that if we hold this 40K level, which we need to do, it is a long-term fib level, more important than anything. That's good. Then we'll have another shot at 60K, and breaching 60K, again, after this big momentum reset, again, will yield much higher prices, I think, over the next 2 quarters of this year. And as well, if we look on this weekly, we do see this MACD resetting a little bit, and it's something we talked about. Obviously, you look on the monthly, it is disgusting, but again, this does not necessarily mean doom and gloom. I know a lot of people point to this, and we've been covering it as well, but it's not necessarily that important, and it is extremely lagging as well. But the final key thing I think to note is that at the beginning of, or year after year, the beginning of the first quarter is usually when companies, institutions kind of look at their portfolios and maybe allocate to new things here. So you have to wonder, are people going to be, or is big money going to be allocating more into Bitcoin as they saw what happened in 2020 and 2021? They know what the monetary policy will be like, at least in the US. And would it make more sense for billions and billions of dollars to be put into Bitcoin than ever before? Absolutely time sensitive as well. If you guys are interested in bonuses, deals, getting altcoins, securing your crypto, staking to earn rewards, make sure to check out the links all below. And as well, I have one Twitter and one Instagram, and they're both pinned at the very top of the comments and description below. Those are my only social medias. The rest are all fake, and they're all trying to message you and scam you. They're going to ask you how your trading is going, right? That's what they always say. But really, what they want to do is diddle you into oblivion. Anything further, McGee?